So it's been 3 years since I've been trying to get divorced, and it's been a really long road. Um, the first thing that happened to me in 2018, right away, 2 years after I was served, he took 23,500 joint marital money out of our account, which he's not supposed to do, but he did it and he's getting away with it. And so I went through financial starvation. What financial starvation is when you're cut off from all resources. At that time, I was a stay-at-home mom. I didn't have any money. And, he was living here and he was keeping all the money to himself. He even cut off my kids. So it was really hard for my kids. My kids now don't believe in God because of everything that happened in the divorce. It's really affected them in a negative way. And my divorce is just getting worse and worse. And it's because I hired, all these fancy lawyers, thinking that they were going to protect me. And in fact, they didn't. What they did was they took my money and they did all the wrong things. What my first lawyer should have done was she should have filed a motion for support. And she took a long time to do that. And by the time she did that, I was just a shell of a person. All of this started around, he pulled money and took marital money around November. And she didn't file anything until January. Usually if you file something with the court, like a motion for temporary support, they don't hear it right away because, everybody's situation is an emergency. Therefore, usually it takes about 6 to 8 weeks for the court to get a date to you. But what my first attorney did was, all of a sudden she sent a letter to the court and copied me saying that she had a conflict. And she filed in January, and I was supposed to have a hearing in February, and she moved that. And I think she moved it because she was colluding with, my ex's attorney. So they will do stuff like that, and, you won't know about it because most of us go through divorce only once, and most people don't go through such a highly contentious divorce like I do. So I finally had enough by February. I was just, so traumatized, and I left her, even though I was, a stay-at-home mom and I didn't have any money to my name. So then I met this other man that had also really good reviews. And he seemed like he understood my case. And the first case management conference we go to, a case management conference is when you meet with a judge and the judge assesses your case. And so we had a case management with this new attorney, and he spent the entire time with the other attorney laughing, talking about something else other than my case. I was left all alone, waiting to go into court. And then when we finally went into court, he, blurted out, Your Honor, my client is going to waive alimony so that he can keep his name on the house because she has been working for a few years. And so therefore she can't get a job right away. And that just floored me because that was nothing we ever talked about. We never talked about me giving up alimony to keep his name on our mortgage. So he had an outburst, and after that day, I told him, it wasn't going to work out. So then I went to my third attorney, and by then I was just so desperate. And this was a referral from a friend, but she didn't go through an awful divorce, and actually she and her ex had settled on their own, so the attorney actually didn't help her. So I don't know, that should have been a red flag for me. But I was never good at picking attorneys, obviously. So my third attorney had, talked me into, well, not talked, it was actually against my will. He dropped my motion for support against my will. By now it was April. So it was like 5 months that I've been without any money. My kids weren't able to live their normal life. They, normally would have activities and do things, and they couldn't anymore. And he started the negotiation really early, and I even said it was premature. And it was only like, by then, 6 months into the divorce. But the attorney didn't want to listen to me. And that's usually, what I heard, that's not the way it's supposed to go. But, it does happen to a lot of us where attorneys will do things because they just want to sit in a meeting and they just want to bill us. So that attorney had me sitting around for, maybe by that time it was 11 months. And by 11 months, I had it. And I was not myself. I didn't have anything. I never felt so poor in my life. And, he was making $174,000 and living in the same house. He cut me and the kids off. I was high in credit card debt. He wasn't paying my attorney fee because my attorney sucked. And, he was very expensive and very well known. So, he took advantage of me. All these lawyers took advantage of me. That's what they did. And they told me, sign this agreement. It was for alimony, and the child support was so, so bad. I'm getting, half of really what I should, and it doesn't barely cover anything. So at $174,000, you would think I would have done pretty well, but I didn't. I signed a really bad agreement, and because I signed that bad agreement thinking it was going to be over, the attorney lied to me and said, I asked her, like, what about all my credit card debt? And what about the attorney fees? And she said, oh, that's just simple credits and debits. We'll figure it out amongst the lawyers. And I guess I shouldn't have listened, or I shouldn't have believed them, but I was so desperate to get out by that time. So I signed a really awful, awful agreement. And I'm probably getting 1/3 than I really should. If I was in a better position, I've had a better lawyer. So because I signed that bad agreement, I'm stuck. He has me. The only power I had was alimony negotiation, and I didn't know that at the time because, I was so distraught. And you just won't believe what happened to me this week. But that's for a different video. Bye.